Amy says the jury makeup, 12 of them, 7 black women, 2 black men, 2 white women, and 1 white man, plus 6 alternates, 18 total jurors in the courtroom. Wow. 7 black women. Oh my God. 2 black men. That changes everything. Ooh, we got to shut down the show. Amy with the breaking news. No, and Monty and the Murphys, we will not Goodwill over here. All right. I love Goodwill. Goodwill's absolutely amazing. Amy says the jury makeup, 12 of them, 7 black women, 2 black men, 2 white women, and 1 white man, plus 6 alternates, 18 total jurors in the courtroom. Wow. 7 black women. Oh my God. 2 black men. That changes everything. Oh, we're going to sit with that for a second. Let's keep going. Just a second. I'll tell you this just went out. Ooh. What do y'all think about that in the chat? And shout out to V Ramirez in here. Says, good morning, ClassE. Late, but gave the video a like. Thank you, my friend. Aww. I was late today, too. So it's all good. It worked out. Mr. Weinstein's coming up there. So, wow.
1930. Okay, I'm going to repeat for Mr. Sharton. November 19, 2015 at 1935. We will play from 1 minute and 27 seconds to 9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wow. Yeah, then, Gabby knows what's up.
For the call dated November 23rd, 2015 at 16:08 p.m.
That just answered my question why Adrian Love is here. Amy, wow.
The state will play from 8 minutes and 50 seconds until the end of the call at about 15 or 16 minutes. 16 minutes, actually. It's about 7 minutes. 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Then,
dang.
December 4th, 2015 at 15:48, the state will play 11:57 to 13:15.
And that's so crazy that that's the case, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago when I talked to somebody called in. I can't remember who it was. And we were talking about the makeup of the jury. And I said, dang, I'm going to let it go.
Then on December 4th, 2017 at 17:31, the state will play 8:10 to 8:30 approximately.
Now, Goodwill is amazing.
And finally, on December 7th, 2015 at 1655, the state will play from 1350 to 1600.
Okay, so do we want to just start with the first one and I'll hear what the objection is, or hear the tape and then hear what the objection is? Maybe hear the objection then the tape.
So, Your Honor, I think that's a good way to do it. Maybe hear the tape and then the objection.
Okay.
The reality is, I've listened to all these calls, but I'm not going to be in an agreement with the state, so we're going to have to litigate it. So there's not really any sense in further negotiations,
Sure.
respectfully.
I mean, we at least have the portion that they intend to play now.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They better
So,
hope for a mistrial.
You want to just start with the October 31st one and play that portion that you intend to play, and if I need to hear, well, I assume if you intend to play it, it'll give the jury enough context also. Is there like a general objection on all of these, or is it going to be different depending upon?
Yeah.
Well,
That's tough.
I
That
will
is
note
tough.
that several of these calls involve people threatening Mr. Stillwell and him reaching out for help to stay alive because the system has placed him in a cage with people who are potentially trying to kill him. I find something rather perverse about the system putting him in a cage in a situation where he needs to reach out to help to survive and avoid having a shank plunged into him, and then us using that against him. So that is my general objection to some of these quote unquote gang related statements. I think we all know about the danger risks and the deaths and stabbings that have occurred at 901 Rice Street. So he's really in a no-win situation there. And I don't know, that just does not, on policy grounds, that doesn't seem like something that should be held against him. He didn't ask.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt. Man, this just threw me off finding out about this jury. That changes everything. Jay Coop says, are the old black women, young black women, middle-aged black women? It doesn't matter. You know why? This is why right here. Exhibit A and Exhibit B. So not only do you have the sister code going on the prosecution, I mean, I can just hear them in closing statements saying, think of your sons. Are these the guys you want on the street influencing your children? Walking through the streets of Atlanta could be your grandson. Could be your son. Nine of them? They got to get out of here. They got this. She said, I'm sorry, nine black folks total. The black men, they'll get it. They'll be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, y'all tripping. I'm not seeing it. Yeesh. You've got 9 women total. 7 black women, 2 white women. Oh my God. And that could be your grandson. Angel Burns says, I don't believe black women want to see black men in prison. Black women want to protect their sons and their kids. And if that means putting another black man in prison, so be it. Y'all got to understand. You got to understand.
At 19:35, we will play from 1 minute and 27 seconds to 9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Dang. That hurt. I got it.
For the call dated November 23rd, 2015 at 16:08 p.m.
The white women will
They
just
will
side
play
with the black
from
women.
8 minutes and 50 seconds until the end of the call at about 15 or 16 minutes. 16 minutes, actually.
Dang.
About 7 minutes. 8 minutes. 7 minutes. Then, December 4th, 2015, at 15:48, the state will play 11:57 to 13:15.
Now it makes sense why jury selection took so long.
Then,
Oh my God.
on December 4th, 2017, at 17:31,
The sound is
the
low.
state will play 8:10 to 8:30, approximately. And finally, on December 7th, 2015, at 16:55, the state will play from 13:50 to 1600.
Wow. Thank you for that, Amy. I got to put this back up on the screen. And y'all don't ask her how she found that out either. She's not going to say.
Okay, so do we want to just start with the first one and I'll hear what the objection is, or hear the tape and then hear what the objection is? Maybe hear the objection and the tape.
So, Your Honor,
Oh, man.
I think that's a good way to do it. Maybe hear the tape and then the objection.
Okay.
The reality is, I've listened to all these calls, but I'm not going to be in an agreement with the state, so we're going to have to litigate it. So there's not really any sense in further negotiations,
Sure.
respectfully.
I mean, we at least have the portion that they intend to play now.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very weird jury makeup. But the issue they ran into, everybody
Right.
here knows who
So,
Young Thug
If
is.
you want to just start with the October 31st
There's a lot of
one and
bias.
play that portion that
Oh,
you intend to
man.
play, and if I need to hear, well, I assume if you intend to play it, it'll give the jury enough context also.
Can I pin this comment?
Is there like a general objection on all of these, or is it going to be different depending upon?
Well, I will note that several of these calls involve people threatening Mr. Stillwell and him reaching out for help to stay alive because the system has placed him in a cage with people who are potentially trying to kill him. I find something rather perverse about the system putting him in a cage in a situation where he needs to reach out to help to survive and avoid having a shank plunged into him, and then us using that against him. So that is my general objection to some of these quote unquote gang related statements. I think we all know about the danger risks and the deaths and stabbings that have occurred at 901 Rice Street. So he's really in a no-win situation there. And I don't know, that just does not, on policy grounds, that doesn't seem like something that should be held against him. He didn't ask to be put in that situation. But other than that, Your Honor, there's different topics, there's different objections.
Okay. Give me just a second.
Yeah, you've got the sister code and protect your children versus these guys are innocent. Give them a chance. Not gonna work. Yeah, and Angel, we don't do that here. Like, if you want to have a legitimate conversation, fine. But if you're just gonna say random crazy stuff like that and not actually listen and have a conversation, then please just go somewhere else. All right, we're gonna skip ahead here. I want to see what y'all are saying about this. And I guess for those of y'all who are rewatching, you can't see the comments, but Angel said very ignorantly, "Damn, the self-hate for your own is real. All black women do not emasculated black men." Don't even know what that means, but yeah, they're gonna protect. As I said, they're gonna protect their black sons, their black children, their black grandchildren before they will try and protect somebody else. That's just facts. Wow. Shout out to Chanel in the building. Says she didn't want to specify witnesses and evidence because it would have revealed her strategy off the rip. It's kind of gross and the obvious play. I don't think their case is solid at all. Yeah, but hearing what the makeup of the jury is, oh my God, that changes everything. Nerdy Girl is up in here. Appreciate you. Said, we know how to raise our sons. Not all our children fall to the streets. And this is exactly what I was saying to y'all in the chat. The not my baby. First, the mother's first instinct is to protect at all costs. And if the prosecution is able to paint a picture of them not only protecting the streets, but protecting their well-being and the well-being of their children and grandchildren, man. Lauren Robinson says, yes, Ken, Fulton County has schools, but Atlanta has their own. Okay, what are y'all talking about? Shout out to Danielle K says, are you saying black women can't determine truth from lies and a clear setup? Why are y'all choosing to not hear what I'm saying? I'm being very clear. And it says, nah, give those black women more credit. They know right from wrong. They wouldn't want their kids set up either. That's fine that y'all can agree. You said I'm contradicting myself. Yeah, that's fine. Y'all are entitled to your opinion. V Ramirez says, classy coming from a black mom. I'm looking at this from the angle of the system not being in favor of my son in a haste to throw our sons in prison. Well, here's the thing, V Ramirez. You're here, right? You're not sitting on the jury. So here's the problem. And one thing I want y'all to think about. You have, at this point, hundreds of hours more information than the jury does. Allegedly, they could be watching. We don't know. But sitting on the jury is a lot different than sitting here watching a YouTube video, seeing all the stuff that's going behind the scenes, hearing my commentary, hearing the lead attorney's commentary, hearing Cat Williams' commentary. You are contained to this courtroom. Now, if we want to believe that the jury hasn't watched anything, I don't know. But they haven't seen all of this, what you're talking about, V. Ramirez. Allegedly, all they've seen and all they've heard is what's being presented in court. And the prosecution is going to continue to build their case. They're going to continue to show time after time after time how innocent people were affected here, how Young Thug could be the leader, and paint this whole narrative. And you have to think about it that way too. Nerdy Girl said, how do you know the mindset of the jurists? How are you determining their thinking? I don't think I said what they're thinking. Maybe she's not talking to me. Freddie Harris says, y'all saying what somebody's thinking and they ain't even made a decision yet. Joshua says, if they lost a family member to violence, we already know they're going to want to even the score and scream guilty. Interesting point. Oh, we've also got a super chat from our resident attorney. Give it up to Joshua Van Lawn with the 5-bomb. Says, mad respect for single moms, but just a reminder, the number one cause of crime in the United States continues to be lack of a father figure. Nerdy Girl's talking to me. Did I say the jury is thinking something? No, we're not. We'll take phone calls a little bit later, Camaros. I appreciate you calling in. Mr. Brown says, the prosecutors are mostly women. From an ex-con, I would rather have men on the jury instead of women. No, y'all are assuming. Yeah, well, I mean, I have a lot of black women in my family, and specifically a lot of black mothers. And I'm just saying from my experience, having a black mother, they're old or retired. Angel Burns says, truth be told, you are making a statement that is very biased. It sounds like a Candace Owens conservative way of thinking. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, shout out to Candace Owens. Justin says, no, that's because they don't care at all. I had a father and I still did crimes. It's their choice to do crimes. I agree. Jurors, including the alternates, are 10 black females, 2 white females, 3 black males, 3 white males. Danielle says, your experience counts for something, ClassE. Yeah, I think I've been around black women, especially black mothers, enough to have an idea of how they would think. If y'all want to give a different opinion, that's fine. All of this is my opinion. And I think if we're going to say y'all are allowed to have different opinions too. Our V Ramirez says that's true because if I lived in a high crime area and wanted better, I probably wouldn't care how they got the bad blood out. Yeah, that's a great point. Shout out to Candace Owens. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. What else are y'all saying? Jim R says, I'm telling you that Whitaker is at the very least granting a mistrial at the close of evidence. Yeah. And I've done a video on Candace Owens, but I don't even watch her like that, honestly. Let me see. Danielle says, I guess he's the only one who's been around black women. No, I'm giving my opinion. If y'all have a difference of opinion, that's fine. I just disagree. Jay Coop says, yeah, but like I said, those black women have kids and grandchildren. Saying Thug didn't do it. Free Thug, Granny. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Mr. Brown says, no, a man is in the streets more than some women, but if you haven't sat on the curb handcuffed, you don't understand. Let me see. Legal Paralegal says, regardless, they are thinking like mothers, not jurists. These guys are going down regardless of the state's case. Oh, don't say that. Dang. Mr. Vegas said black women aren't going to let you box it. I think that's women in general. Oh, man. Nerdy Girl says, I'm a black mother who can see the system railroad and wouldn't blame my experience on the case before me. Yeah, and I respect that, Nerdy Girl, and I believe you. I think just from my experience and from what I see, and there's probably some data that we can look up too. I don't see the general consensus being that, looking at the system versus looking at protecting yourself, it's tough, man. It's tough. Jim says, oh, and Jim, shout out to Jim for joining the membership. Appreciate you. Gabby said she would call in if she wasn't in her feelings. Yeah, dang. Let's see. John says, so the men are thinking like fathers and not jurists. Now, I don't know what they're thinking. I'm not necessarily talking about the jurors. I'm just talking about mothers and women in general, but specifically black women that would be on this jury. Goner Dang says, at the end of the day, the case has to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Freddie Harris says, legal, that's what I'm trying to tell them. We just need the hope he doesn't get the RICO. Oh, what did legal say? I missed it. All right, we'll get back to the trial here in a second, but this is a great conversation. Joshua Van Lawn says, he also said they're thinking like mothers, which means they're not going to let these kids go down these bare allegations. Yeah, but do you think, Joshua, that they're going to think about somebody else's kids first, or the kids in the streets, or their own kids? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking y'all. Jay Coop says, one thing we have to remember as well is Thug has done a lot in this community by helping young black kids and things of that nature. So I think Steele will bring that up, and the black women will see that. Shout out to Legal Paralegal, says, bang it, chin. Oh, you know what time it is. Thank you. Justice says, the police don't care about us at all. They just want to put anyone in jail. Benny says, I would not like to leave any decision about my life on a jury full of women. The woman will let their feelings make decisions. They don't think objectively. Let's see. Nerdy Girl says, ClassE, are you saying black women can't think beyond their pain? I don't know. Did I say that? You're asking me if I think black women can't think? I just want to, I mean, I could look at it on the screen. Freddie Harris says, and one thing, everybody, we're not arguing about a corrupt trial. So here's what I'm saying. I guess I'll try and be more clear. Gabby said, don't respond. It's fine. I could go further, but I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone because clearly you're nerdy girl. You're not hearing me at all. But anyway, here's what I'm saying. When you're given two choices, right? We're saying the defense versus the prosecution. And they're saying, prosecution saying, protect your own, get these guys off the street. The defense is saying, think of your own. These could be your sons. What's going to happen is the prosecution's protect the street, these are your own, is going to, in my opinion, be more relatable than these could be your own. Because what they'll say is, not my baby, I'm going to protect my baby. That's not going to happen to my baby. I'm keeping him out of the streets. So they go with the prosecution, which is protect yours. That's all I'm saying. Freddie Harris says, as a man, ClassE Beats, it came off like that. Not saying that you was thinking, but you worded that wrong. So what I said made you think I said black women can't think by saying they're going to think and want to protect their own children first. What? Oh boy. I don't know how I said that wrong, but I'm going to let you have that one.